There have been few games released in the last couple of years which have had as much hype surrounding them as Watch Dogs. Looked upon by many as the first game to be next gen, it was very highly anticipated. But moving past all the hype, what exactly is being delivered, and is it worth your time and money? Let's find out. Firstly, yes, the game does not look as good as it did when it was first shown to the public, and the difference is quite noticeable. So for those hoping for a next-gen looking game, sadly we don't have one yet. Watch Dogs does look quite good, but nothing revolutionary. And I myself am perfectly fine with that, if not a little disappointed. But what I am not fine with is the bad performance and lack of optimization the game severely suffers from. Watch Dogs is ridiculously hard to run. Even a high-end PC will really struggle to keep up. It is so bad, in fact, I'd recommend you go look up some performance charts to make sure your system can even run it at an acceptable level before you decide if you wish to purchase. And while it does look good, it doesn't look anywhere near good enough for what it is demanding. And considering how badly it also runs on the consoles, it's clear that the game is simply very poorly optimized across all the platforms. Also, the game on launch sadly has suffered from numerous bugs, glitches, and in my case, a lot of crashes, which has really impacted on my enjoyment of the game. On top of this, the Uplay servers have not been able to cater for the huge demand, meaning the multiplayer part of the game, which I enjoy quite a bit when I'm able to play it, is barely working, with it being that most of the time, you will not even be able to connect to the activity you want to play. So it's been a very poor launch to say the least. But moving on. The world in Watch Dogs is based in a fictional / futuristic Chicago, and while the city is quite expansive and detailed, it lacks any distinctive features or areas, with it being basically just urban and rural, because it all looks so similar. This led to me getting lost quite a few times and having to rely on the GPS just to figure out where I needed to go. This is not something I enjoy much, as I prefer to not have to use those systems. Also something I want to bring up is that in future games with this, can we have some customization for these systems? What if I want to change the colour of the trail I'm following, or the size, or have it only show up on my map and not on the road in front of me? I found the Watch Dogs trail to be very annoying, as it covers the entire side of the road in giant blue arrows. Why can't I make it a small line? In my opinion, that would be better, and I hope it is something they change. But that aside, the city can be fully explored, and there is a lot for you to do. There are many side activities which include things like preventing crimes, hunting down criminals, racing, minigames like chess, poker, and the digital trips, which are what they sound like, and end up adding a bit of GTA / Saints Row feel into Watch Dogs, and they are a fair bit of fun. What is not fun, however, is getting around the city. This is because the driving mechanics, to me at least, are quite bad. All the cars feel far too floaty, and you end up feeling like you're driving on ice. And considering how much time you will spend driving, this really aggravated me, because the game can be very difficult at times, with it suffering from some real difficulty spikes in some missions, mostly the ones involving absolute stealth required or the police being involved. This is generally because they will either involve one of two things: instant failure states or long and difficult car chases. But this is the first game in a long time that I can say I have dreaded having the police after me. This is because they are relentless. They will chase you to the ends of the earth, with their AI being fairly damn smart. They will box you in and ram you off the road constantly, search the side and back streets for you when you try to hide, and stick right on your tail no matter how fast you go. If it wasn't for your hacking abilities, you would never escape them. And on that note, let's talk about the hacking. Your hacking abilities and their effects on the world is what the game is primarily based on. They give you a good level of control over your surroundings, combining old mechanics with a different spin. You're able to change traffic lights to control traffic, burst steam pipes to blow up the road to stop pursuers, hack into people's phones to steal their money, and even cause massive blackouts to entire city blocks. This, along with your list of weapons, which include the standards like pistols, assault rifles, shotguns, grenades, etc., you'll have many tools at your disposal, and while not as in-depth as we were hoping for, they are still very fun to use. Overall, the story in Watch Dogs is a predictable one. You'll have most, if not all of it figured out within the first couple of hours of the game, which is pretty disappointing as I was hoping for a story filled with surprise and mysteries, but the game sadly tries to push its narrative too much, so this doesn't end up happening because not enough suspense is built, and you see how things are going to play out long before they end up occurring. This is the shame, as most of the important characters are played fairly well, excluding the main character Aiden Pierce, who has little to nothing remarkable about him except the stereotypical "I'm out for revenge" cliche. So, in conclusion, Watch Dogs is not the amazing next-gen title people were hoping for, and while it is certainly a good current-gen game, it's been dragged down by all of these launch problems. So in the end, my final score for Watch Dogs is a 7 out of 10. If it had launched without all of these optimization and game problems, it could have been an easy 8 out of 10, but the score is for how the game is at the time of review. So in the end, my advice would be wait a while before you purchase. They've got a lot of problems to fix, and there's a lot of issues plaguing this game, and I'd recommend you let them work them all out before you purchase, because if you end up playing it now, you'll have a subpar experience. If you liked the video and want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel, and thanks for watching.